What's up? Are we live already? What's up, everybody? If you're on, let me know where you're at, where you're coming from. If you're ready for this live tonight, my name is Essence China. I'm the founder of Rare Essence Academy. We teach natural hairstylists how to become excellent at their work, excellent in their character, so they can just succeed. And so I'm really excited to be live tonight. Hopefully, I'll be able to see your comments. And this is my first time doing it this way, so I'm excited. What's up, DeMonica, Karen? What's up, Ben? What's up, Drew? What's up, Sweet Harmony? Is that Santisha? So thank you for joining me live tonight. Tonight we are talking about, am I growing or am I going in circles? What's up, Goddess Alexis from Detroit? Okay, did y'all get the email? How did you know we was live? Like, how did y'all even get the notification? Or y'all just some real followers? You're like, I follow Rare Essence. Yeah, it's me. Y'all know I always gotta have some water because sometimes I talk so much, I be getting dry. So come on in the room. Let me know if you what challenges you're having as a stylist. You got the email? Okay. Kara says circles. Kimberly said IG. What's up, Tarshika? That's good. That's good. So I'm so happy to see you all up in here. If you are on, so we're seeing a difference between YouTube and Facebook. Okay, I'm seeing everybody in the room watching from London. Okay. Are you a hairstylist? You just got the email. So it's been a while since I went live. If y'all were on my live when back in 2020 when the quarantine hit, I had decided to go live for 30 days. And during that time, y'all, I thought I was about to be doing hair for 30 days. And I don't even know why I told myself I was going to do that. Because for those of you who know me, I stopped doing hair from behind the chair about like 6 years ago. And I went full-fledged into education. We had already been training, but my 20 years behind the chair the time was up, y'all. So you have to recognize the seasons in your life and when it's time to shift. And so it was time for me to shift. And so I went live for 30 days thinking or lying to myself thinking I was going to do hair. But after, I want to say the 10th day, I just started talking and y'all was just showing up and I was grateful for it. So happy for you all to be here, but let me know if it resonates with you. Like, do you feel like you're just spinning your wheels? You just continuing to do work day in and day out, but you don't see the success or the progress with where you see yourself wanting to be. Let me know if that resonates with you, because I personally have been there. I have been the one where I feel like I'm such a go-getter. I'm such a person that sees beyond where I'm always at. And sometimes I feel like, am I just doing this in vain? Am I working in vain? So let me know, do y'all feel like sometimes you're working in vain? The vision that you have for your dream, the vision that you have for even your life, not even just your business, but that you don't see the growth. Do you not see the growth? Are we on IG as well? Oh, okay, what's up, y'all? I can't see y'all comments, unfortunately. If you want me to respond to you, you got to jump on Facebook or Instagram or on YouTube. Yes. Goddess Alexa says she remembers. I remember too. That was a great time. So with that being said, let's get into it. Am I growing or am I going in circles? Am I going in circles? It really reminded me of like the children of Israel in the sense that they were in the wilderness for 40 years and it should not have taken that long. And the reality is because they were not necessarily aware of what was keeping them there. And sometimes we're in places that we feel stuck, and it's not necessarily that you're stuck, but you're not necessarily aware of what actually is keeping you in that place. And sometimes, if not all times, it's fear, right? It's fear. And so many of you have probably seen something bigger for yourself. You've probably seen like, okay, I want to open a salon, or I want to be a celebrity hairstylist, or I want to be an educator, but like, what's keeping you in that place? Like, why have you not got to the next step? That's the question. Yes, part-time. And I'm going to read some comments as I go through. Yes, part-time stylist, moving very slowly. I can't see it. When you're hovering. Oh, dang. Yeah, I got to see the whole setup. Kim, if you don't mind, move right here or on the other side. Um, fear. Actually, before I even get into it, what do you feel like your next step is? What is your next step? What is it? What is that vision or that glimpse that you've seen for your next, that it just seems like it keeps evading? You waking up day in and day out, you doing heads all day long, but you still have this other dream inside of you, this next step and this next level. What is it? I want y'all to like make it real, because what happens is sometimes we can find ourselves doing work over and over again, and we find frustration because we don't even have clarity of vision. We don't even see where we're really trying to go. And I always liken it to, like, you could see, I'm not trying to call y'all a dog. I'm just giving you an analogy, but you could see say a dog, or let's just stay with a dog. And it could be somebody could be dangling a piece of meat in front of this dog. And so what you'll find is that this dog is going to be heavily motivated. Why? Because he has vision of that which he wants. He can even not only see it, but he can also smell it. But many times for us, when we don't have clarity of vision, there is no motivation. And so we don't even know how to get out of this stuck place into the next place. So fear of moving forward a lot of times is because we don't even have the vision. But if you have the vision, the next question is like, okay, so why is it not happening? And I've asked myself that, like, okay, I'm doing this work. Why are things not happening? Let me just say first, you have to identify like what the actual fear is, because people will always say, oh, well, yeah, I'm scared or I'm fearful. But it's like, but what are you scared of? Like, you have to put a name on it. Like, what am I actually afraid of? Is it fear that you're going to lose some money? Is it fear that you're not going to be able to succeed and somebody's going to see you, quote unquote, fail? Like, what is the actual fear, right? For me to even go live sometimes, I'm just like, okay, I ain't really trying to go live. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do believe I have something to say, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't want to go live. And it's really because I have to get back to the root of that fear. Or I don't think people's going to show up. Or I don't think people are going to engage. Or I don't think nobody wants to hear this. And so these are the thoughts that we may have, and that if they go unchecked, they will keep us paralyzed. Straight up paralyzed. So the reality is, when we ask ourselves what's holding us back, we can't just say fear. We have to get to the root. What is the root? I'm going to read a comment right now, at this moment right now, deciding when I'm going to transition from working 2 jobs, step out on faith, and go to school for 5 years and then pick up a full-time job in addition to the salon. Identify it. Is it, if I completely go full-time into hairstyling, I might not be able to support myself. See, because when you be able to put a name on it, you can actually dispel that fear. That's not the case, because there's a lot of hairstylists making a whole lot of money right now, right? So when we think about our fears, then we can get to the root of, like, okay, how do we now address that? Because if the fear was, I won't be able to make enough money, well, then now you can counteract that with investing in yourself to get so skilled as a stylist that you demolish that fear, right? Because at the end of the thing, fear is going to be there regardless, but you have to start preparing yourself and putting yourself in position to now move in bravery and move in courage to take care of whatever that may be, right? So my team is all here, and I'm thankful for my team, right? And they've been like, Essence, we got to go live. And so sometimes we know exactly what it is that we're supposed to do for our next step, but we're unwilling to do it. And we try to go about it every other way, thinking that that's gonna actually make it happen, and it's not. And one thing I had to learn for myself is that sometimes the biggest thing that you decide that you don't want to do is the very thing that will be your breakthrough. Let me say that one more time. The very thing that you don't want to do may be the very thing that is keeping you from your breakthrough. What does that mean? Sometimes conquering your fear is the only way, because otherwise we will be going in circles. You got me going in circles. You will be going in circles. Why? Because you are unwilling to do the very thing that's going to set you free. Face your fear. Face your fear. Honestly, for me, being judged. Ooh, come on now, Fit and Fabulous. I'm 41 and I'm just beginning in the hair game after being in another career. Being judged about what? Being judged by who, right? Because when I think about, and I don't want to get off subject, but I think that so much of our fears go into, and let me raise my hand first. So much of our fears really have to do with our own self-acceptance and self-love, right? And so that's not a hit or knock at anybody. That is when I get down to the root of it. Oh, I'm dealing with rejection issues. Oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be received. So many stylists can't even post their own work. Why? Because they're self-judging. Why? Because they're so afraid that it won't get any engagement, it won't get any likes, that if they post it, it's just going to be devastation. Why? Because the devastation started in their mind first, right? So we got to get to the place where we say, I'm going to promote myself. I'm going to believe in myself. I'm going to take the steps that I need to take. Why? Because I love me. And I don't care how anybody judges it. And so you got to get to that place, Fit and Fabulous, and anybody else who's dealing with that particular issue. It's the self-work, right? So number one, I said you have to identify the fear. It's not just fear. Fear of what, right? So number one, we're going to have some points tonight. Number two, you have to get to a place where the very thing that you fear, you have boldness and you have courage and you have bravery enough to conquer it. Me getting on live today it may seem easy, but at the same time, I'll be like, listen, I'm not trying to go live. Y'all got my hair wrap all looking crazy and didn't even say nothing. Are we still live on Instagram? I mean, y'all just need to get on Facebook because I can't even see y'all. I'm gonna need you to go ahead. But for real, y'all. So number two, I think it's the fear of bigger responsibility for me, the bigger responsibility, but you're built for it. Goddess Alex, you are built for it. And if it's a bigger responsibility, what we have to do is begin to break past the limitations of our mind and realize that if we are going to have a bigger responsibility, then that just means we need a team. And if we need a team, that means that we need to have to be able to be the best leader that we can be. And how do you become the best leader that you can be? You have to learn how to lead yourself first. See, because in order to attract a team, they have to be able to see some level of traction. Nobody is going to say, listen, nobody is going to start following until they start to realize like, oh, this person is taking action. I want to be a part of that. And as they become a part of that, the giftings that they have, right, the talents and skills that they have, they are going to be willing to support you in that responsibility. Right? So they'll have the ability to respond to whatever it is that's on your plate. So if it's now, I'm not sure about this bigger responsibility, why don't you separate that and segment that into what exactly does that look like? What are the things that if I take this next step, I don't know if I'm equipped for it. What are those skill sets? Start to document those things, right? Because the thing is, we attract what we lack as we take action. We attract what we lack. Momentum is a magnet. So when I say momentum is a magnet, when we start moving forward, sometimes our moving forward is not always just like, okay, I'm actually making moves. Sometimes it's like moving without the ball. What does that mean? Start writing down the things that you need, right? Because when you start identifying what it is I need for this next level, what you're doing is you're showing, I'm going to just say God, because I already know where I'm at with it. You're showing him that I can identify what I need, and I trust that you're going to bring that into my world, right? But if we stay in the paradigm of I'm not going to be able to handle this bigger responsibility, then you're not going to be able to handle that bigger responsibility. But maybe what if it's not for you to handle? I can't do all this without my team, right? But I got to a place where I did the work. And I continued to create that momentum to where people started to believe in what I was doing enough to be like, yo, I'm riding with you. Right. So sometimes you are going to have to bear it in the very beginning. But how great do you believe in yourself? How great do you believe in the dream that's been placed in your heart? See, when you get to that place and you realize like there is nothing else that I've been built for. There is nothing that I could see myself doing other than this. When I do this, I feel like a dancer who was created to dance. I feel like a bird who was created to fly. If a bird is not flying, and I always say this, if a bird is not flying, they are not living in their glory. Like, why are you here? Birds have wings for a reason, right? So you got to get to that place where you just realize there's no other option. If I wasn't doing hair at the time I was doing hair, I don't know what I would be doing. I would have been a fish out of water. If I'm not speaking in this season of my life, I'm essentially negating all of who I am. So I think so much of why we feel stuck goes to my second point or third point is you have to know who you are. Who are you? Right? Because when you know your identity, it also speaks to what you were created to do. And so if you're a hairstylist and you understand, oh my goodness, like hairstylists are so creative. And when you're creative, you have other gifts that are pulling at you or other things that are yet to be discovered. And sometimes we can feel trapped behind that chair. And it's not a knock, but it's just to say that there's another gift that is looking for expression. And so when you recognize that, you have to identify that. And sometimes it just takes the process that you have to go through. Nobody is going to be expressing all their gifts at once. Or at least, I mean, some might not agree with that, but I'll put it like this. My gifts, I started braiding hair when I was 15 years old out of my parents' laundry room. And I realized I had a great passion for hair. And some of you have started so early, just like me, very passionate about doing hair. And I opened my first salon when I was 25 years old. And so I went from being a braider out of my parents' laundry room to opening my first salon. So now I go from a title of being a braider to a business owner, right? From a braider to a business owner. So now a whole nother gift has to be exercised. A whole nother expression has to come forth. Why? Because I'm not just doing hair and exchanging money at this point in time, right? But then I went from being a business owner to an educator. Now I'm traveling the world and I'm teaching hairstylists how to actually execute the way that I execute. But see, that gift did not get expression until I went through the process. I was not teaching when I was 15. I wasn't there yet, right? And so you have to have patience with your process, because what happens is we get this glimpse of our promise and we get so hype about that promise, and then we get discouraged when we got to go through the process. We get discouraged. Why do we get discouraged? Because we don't realize, oh, it just don't happen overnight. It don't work like that. Oh, I got to put in the work. Especially in this microwave age where we have so many people, like in your mind, they're blowing up overnight on social media because they have the following, but they don't necessarily have the character to sustain it. You have to go through the process. I could not have even been trusted enough 10 years ago to be able to speak to people because I hadn't completely went through my own process. How did y'all get me here? I don't even know why I'm here. We are talking about, what are we talking about, y'all? Am I growing or am I going in circles? And that really speaks to it, because when you're in a growth process, it's a process. You're going to feel sometimes like you're in a wilderness, right? But sometimes the wilderness is to show you something about you, to help develop another trait that is necessary for your next step. Y'all don't even understand. I've been in the wilderness for the last 3 years trying to figure it out, because I'm like, okay, God, I know what you showed me, but it ain't really happening. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily going in the way that I think it should go, right? And so just trying to figure out, like, why am I feeling stunted? And sometimes we feel like we are going through the pain and we are going even through the fire because we're being punished. We ain't even talk. Listen, we think it's because we are actually being getting given a life sentence. We are being punished. We're not being punished. What if you're going through the fire for purification? What if the things that need to be shown and developed in you are only going to come through the process of fire? Right? And so, I mean, some of y'all, you may have had like family members pass away, or some level of disappointment or some level of loss, and you're not understanding, like, okay, why do I feel like I'm going in circles? It literally made me go read Exodus. Why were they going in circles? They was in circles for 40 years. Don't let that be me. And I realized, like, I think a wilderness is part of your process. And so you have to really identify, am I really going in circles, or is this just kind of like ordained for my process? Am I really stuck, or is this just a process I have to go through? Why? Because you got to humble me, because I'm prideful. Okay? Like, or is it because, like, I need to learn something for my next level? House of War. Is that Nancy? What's up? What's up, Brittany? Realizing the process is not easy, but possible. Still learning and pushing through. Come on, somebody say push. Somebody type push. What's up, Tisha? No, but seriously, we have to get to the place that sometimes we stuck because we're disobedient. Sometimes we're stuck because we're in a process, and we just got to be patient with it, because everything that he showed you is actually going to come to pass, but it's just not going to come to pass in the way that you thought. Like, sometimes you need to surrender to the idea of what you thought it was going to be. Push. Surrender to what you thought it was going to be. So there's so many reasons why we find ourselves asking these questions. Am I growing, or am I going in circles? And this is the thing. When you're growing, there's movement. There's activity going on. And when you're going in circles, when you're running in place, there's activity and movement going on as well. And so sometimes we got to question, like, am I actually doing what I need to do? But the question is really not so much that, but are you surrendered to your process? What's up, Kenya? Are we surrendered? I feel called out right now. Alex, listen, I'm not trying to come to your front door. Listen, I always tell people, when I go live, I'm not even talking to nobody. I'm talking to myself. All I see is myself. I can't see y'all. I can just see the comments, right? But see, this is the thing. Like, I had this conversation with God. Let me get a little sip real quick. And y'all know very much of what Rare Essence is has to do with my faith, my belief system. And so everything that I do is he's included. You feel what I'm saying? And there were some things. I was having this conversation. Now, let me break this down. I was having this conversation with somebody, and somebody said, I don't have anything to show for these last 6 months of this year. So as I started talking to her, I was just like, but did you set your intention? Right? Did you say, okay, within 6 months of this year, between January 1st to July 1st, I want to be able to see this accomplished, whether it's how much money I want in the bank, whether it's where I want to be spiritually, where I want to be emotionally, or how many times I want to journal. Like, did you set your intention? And the answer was no. Well, then how could you really expect you to see anything shown for this year? Right? And so I don't want anybody to say, ouch, but like, are you setting intentions? What are you setting your heart on? What are you setting your mind on? What are you pinning to paper to believe that God is going to put his super on your natural? Because if you're not, then what can we really expect? We can't, right? So then as we continue to talk, I said, you know what, but even greater than setting your intentions, there's something that's greater than setting your intentions for the year. Because you could say, okay, as a hairstylist, I want to be able to earn, say, I don't know, 6 figures, which is great, right? Or you could say, I want to be able to service, X amount of clients per day, or you can have all of these certain intentions, right? But as I started thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, okay. And this is just an example, but for say somebody who wants to lose weight, and they can say, okay, by the end of the year, I want to be able to lose 50 pounds. And that is a great and very noble aspiration, right? But the reality is you could get to the end of the year and go hard, right? You could deny yourself of the food you really want to eat. You could punish yourself in the gym, right? You could do all of these things, miss certain functions because if you go to this function, you're going to eat. Okay, you ain't going to have no control, right? You could do those things, but at the end of the year, you could get to your goal, and guess what? You could lose that 50 pounds and gain 75 back next year. What a travesty. Like, what would have been all of the reasons? Like, why did we even put ourselves through the pain? Why did we put ourselves through all of this extra stuff if we were just going to lose it? We was just going to gain it all over again. And so as I was talking to her, God started to convict me, right? Started to convict me. Why? Because the word that came to me is what's greater sometimes than the intention is the consistency. Somebody type that in the chat. What's greater sometimes than the intention is the consistency. What really have you been consistent with this year? This is a sign, confirmation I asked for, message received loud and clear. Amen and amen. What have you been consistent with? And so as I'm having this conversation with her, we're talking about her, and God turned up conversation on me. It was like, oh, but the things that you've been asking for, the things that you've been expecting, you haven't been consistent either. Right? Because I got this glimpse of my future, and I'm like, okay, so when is that going to happen? And he was like, but you negated what I told you from the beginning. I done been told you what you need to do. And so for many of you stylists, you're looking to see your next level. And I'm telling you, the reason why you're not seeing your next level for many of you is the fear of putting yourself out there. It's the fear of judgment. It's the fear that if I really put myself out there, are they really gonna mess with it? Like, it really is the lack of belief in yourself. And I know don't nobody really want to hear that. It's the consistency. It's the inconsistency. It's like the double dutch. I'm like, I'm in one day, I'm out the next. I'm in, can we be all in? Can we be all in? Can we be consistent? I play the keys, right? I'd have had a keyboard, a piano for over about 20 some years, 18 years, somewhere around there. I got a bass guitar. And don't get me wrong, like obviously hair and business is that's my flow. That's what I do. That's obviously what pays me. But I love these things and they're hobbies and they don't necessarily pay me. But I'm like, dang, I'd have had a keyboard for how many years? How many songs I know how to play? Mary had a little lamb. A shame. Why? Because there was no consistency. What if I said, you know what, I'm going to do my scales for 5 minutes every day? Do you know where I would be? If you said whatever it is that I want to see growth in from this day forward, I'm about to be consistent, right? I don't know what that is. If that's, I'm going to post one thing at least a day. I'm going to practice for 15 minutes on how to execute a part, because some of them parts be questionable. Like, but you're so quick to give up on yourself because it ain't paying off just yet. Well, why would it pay off? You only been doing it for 2 days. Why would? Okay, hold up. Let's be real. The Bible says, don't despise small beginnings. I'm like, dang, I don't know if I want to go live. What if only one person? I'm sorry. What if one person show up and my executive assistant was like, Essence, now you know what I'm saying? Like, stop saying that. Why? Because again, we begin to make these mountains in our minds when they're really a molehill, when they're really a mount, something we can stomp on, but because we haven't identified that it's not even ourselves talking to us, but it's something else speaking to us, and we have not cast it down, then we roll with the lie. I'm about to jump off. Do I need to get off we roll with the lie. So then now we roll with the lie, and then we become inconsistent. Why? Because we're unwilling to go through the process of growth. We just want it to be bomb overnight. What is wrong with us? When a baby comes to the earth, do you think the baby is talking and dancing? No, the baby, you can't deny the process. The process is the process. The baby got to go from being held to now, you know what I'm saying, to rolling over, to crawling, to standing up and falling, to standing up and falling, to taking one step and falling. But see, we're so unwilling. What is wrong with us? Life shows us the process, but we're unwilling to believe in ourselves enough to go through the process. Listen, because anybody else is going through the process should be encouraging you. Like, girl, you got that. I don't care how many times you might fall. Babies don't even think about how many times they fall. Why? Because they realize that the realm and the paradigm that they were just in is, how do I say this? they know that they can get free. They can get set free from that paradigm. What does that mean? I don't want to crawl anymore. And I realize that I don't have to crawl. Why? Because I see adults walking around on twos. And I got 2 legs. So there must be a way, right? And so some of you may see somebody in your peripheral or in your field or in your industry that is doing what you see yourself doing. That is evidence that it's possible. Y'all got me yelling. Let me know if I'm too loud because I can't even hear myself. I need some headphones. Am I too loud? It's evidence that it's possible. And so the baby says, you know what? It's possible. I don't care how many times I fall. Listen, if I take a step, that is success. See, but we switch, we pervert that thought of falling. We think falling is failure. Falling is actually success. You did something. You did something. And the person who is laughing and judging at something that you did and they ain't doing. Listen, I didn't even want to go live tonight. Can you come on screen and say she didn't want to go live?
I promise y'all, she did not want to go live.
I did not want. Why? Because of my own accepting lies. So I need everybody to identify the lie that they are agreeing with. And I'm gonna need you to go ahead and literally write it on a piece of paper. Identify it's not just a fear. What is the name of this fear? Write the name of this fear down. Write the exact, my name is Sabrina, and I am afraid of this. And then ask yourself, is it true? Is what you're believing even true? The Bible says, cast down imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. Like we don't even realize the bait that we've been taking into our mind is not even true. And we've been calling it true. And we ain't even tried. We've been calling it true. And it's been our ruling thought. And when it becomes a ruling thought, you behave it, right? You only can behave predicated on your belief system. You believe the lie, and now you act like the lie. Let me get back on the mic. You believe the lie. It was meant to see your email. Amen. You believe the lie. And so what we have to do now is identify the lie, write it down. Let's go back to the homework because some of y'all got homework. I'm not afraid no more. I was afraid of rejection. Listen, we all are. If everybody real, we all are fearful of rejection. But we got when we get to the self-acceptance, and we're gonna get there. I'm gonna give you the remedy in a second. But this is part of the remedy. Write down the lie, and then tell yourself it's a lie. This is not even the truth. I have seen evidence and manifestation to show me that it is possible. And even if I fall in trying to do this, I will not utterly fail. Forgive me for saying it wrong, but even fear of success, go deeper. Is it I fear success because I feel like my family members and my friends will feel insecure? Come on, Jesus. They will feel insecure. And I'm not saying that's what it actually is, but go deeper. Identify it for real. See, because that's too basic. That's too, I don't really know what fear of success is. To me, that just sounds like something somebody said. And I'm not knocking you, but I want you to dial it in. And when you dial it in, you have to ask yourself, is that even really true? And if it's not true, then go ahead and write. But you know what? I've been believing this so long that I have behaved this. I have become this, right? Because you go from belief to behavior to becoming that. And then your life continues to feel like you're going in circles. You know why the children of Israel stayed in the world. They stayed in the world for very long. But some of the reasons because they didn't believe God, that God is not good. They just kept on going in circles. He promised them a land flowing with milk and honey, and your dream is a land flowing with milk and honey. But you can't get to the land flowing with milk and honey until you begin to believe the right things. The right things. And so what happens is you got to recognize I've been believing the wrong things. The things that are not serving me. The things that are not serving Miss Hair and Miss Huma. The things that are not serving Goddess Alexis. Like, they're not serving me. And so anything that is causing you to behave in a way that is not serving you, you got to get to the root. Get to the root. Get to the root. And I'm trying to tell you, you're trying to throw me off. Okay, get to the root. So this is a part of the remedy. Again, if y'all don't know, my name is Essence China, and I am not just a part of the hair industry, but my heart is to help you to get free. I don't do this just for no kind of reason. This is actually an assignment. This is a mandate. So going back to my story, so I'm just like, okay, so I haven't been consistent. Do you know that God told me one specific thing to do, and I've been running from it for years? One specific thing. And I went back to a notebook where it was plain. He was like, this is my answer. But this whole time I've been treating it like a choice, but I didn't realize it was a charge. See, this is some of the reason why we are not getting to the place that we need to go to. This is the reason why we're going in circles, because we think the things that we are supposed to do, oh, it's just a choice. Oh, yeah, I could do that, but I ain't really trying to do that. Let me try to go about a way that feels more comfortable to me. No. It don't work like that. This is not a choice. This is not up to you. This is the part where I talk about surrender. Like, you got to die to yourself. Die to this idea of feeling comfortable in the process. If you're really trying to get to the promise, you're going to have to die. How do I say it? Like you're going to have to die to yourself. See, because the thing is, you're trying to make it happen in your own means. And if you try to make it in your own means, guess what? It's not, you ain't even going to be able to, RIP, you're not even going to be able to sustain it. You're not even going to be able to sustain it. So what we have to do is surrender and obey. See, and y'all might be saying, okay, like, what does this have to do with me being a hairstylist? Everything. Everything, because the way that you do one thing is the way that you do everything. Your business can only grow to the extent that you do as a person. Everything. You think that you're just going to be a bomb hairstylist without addressing your mental issues, your emotional issues, your spiritual issues. No, girl, go on somewhere. Because why? You might be able to make some money and you might be able to grow a great following, but guess what? Your soul is messed up. But see, when you're whole, when you are healed, like when you have went through your process, everything that you thought you would have and more, because the Bible says he can do exceedingly abundantly above all that you ever ask, think, or imagine, is going to be there, right? But see, this is the thing. Sometimes we think that holding on to the little stuff that we think is life, the little stuff that we think is, we just think it's the world. So some of y'all are saying, I feel stuck. I feel like I'm going in circles. I don't really know how to grow as a hairstylist. It's probably because you're trying to hold on to something that's not even, it's not even everything. You think it's everything. It's like, okay, I want to go about it this way. Like, I see this future for myself and I'm going to go about it this way. And what happens is God just like, I'm going to just let you continue to go in circles until you recognize it's not your way. Huh, Katrina? It's not your way. And so that's why I say that everything that I say, really, the foundation of it is understanding that you got to believe, but you can't even get to the belief until you even know, what are you believing? Like, what is actually true? What's true? What's true? So why am I going in circles? Am I going in circles? Am I growing or am I going in circles? And so that's the question I had to ask myself when I got to the place where I realized that, I really haven't, one, I haven't been obedient. Two, I haven't been consistent, right? What would 1 year of consistency look like for you? What would 1 year of consistency look like? What is it that you need to get consistent with? Like for me, now I ain't there yet. Cause listen, when I'm talking to y'all, I'm talking to myself. Like I be chastised. I gotta go back and watch the live my daggone self. What if I said, you know what, I'm gonna eat salads 3 to 4 times a week for the rest of my life? Why? Because I need this, right? I'm not trying to just get to this certain physical physique, what have you, but no, my body needs it. So this is now something that I consistently do, and it's actually a part of my new lifestyle. It's who I am. So when you hold up, and I gotta go back. So when you write down the lie, for those of you who don't wrote down your lie, and you recognize that it's not true, take that piece of paper and go burn it. Burn it. And then go back and write down what's actually true. The truth is, I've actually seen people succeed in this area, and maybe I need to learn from them. Maybe I need to glean from them. Maybe I need to invest in myself. Maybe I need a coach. Maybe the very person that I'm intimidated by, I need to be inspired by, and maybe I need to go and glean from them, even if I can't get close up on them. Like maybe I just need to just like pay attention, right? Because sometimes pride will keep us from even one, reaching out, two, even being able to like be inspired by somebody. And it's actually keeping you in your stuck place. It's actually keeping you going in circles. Why? Because other people have done it and they have wisdom. Why are we wanting to do it all by ourselves and try to reinvent the wheel when really and truly it's been done? So sometimes it's out of ignorance. We don't even necessarily know, like, oh, okay, I can actually ask this person, or I can actually get coached by this person. Like, there is a way. But we got to figure out like what that is. What is the fear? And get to the place of understanding who you are and why you're here. Yes, you are great and you were skilled as a hairstylist, but like, what else? What else? What else are we here for? And y'all are doing an amazing job, because being a hairstylist is such a sacred and trusted position. Y'all, I don't know if you understand, but there is a very heavy significance to being a hairstylist. And that's all the more reason why you should be working on yourself in all aspects of your life. Why? Because you can't be bleeding on people. You braided, but you bleeding too. What do I mean by that? Like you haven't went through your own, like you have so much time to spend with somebody. And if you're in a more healed and whole place and you're making moves and you can inspire somebody and you walking by faith, you could actually inspire somebody else. But when you ain't really, you're oblivious to all of the things that you need to be working on, how can you help somebody else? So yeah, you might be creating a fly hairstyle, but how could you be helping them on a soul level, on an emotional level? So I ain't even mean to be live too long today, y'all. I'm about to get back consistent, because this is my push. This is my obedience. This is my surrender. What is your surrender today? What is something you said, I'm about to be consistent with this? One thing I want everybody to write down. And if you can't, write it in the chat. What is one thing I'm about to be consistent with for the rest of this year? I mean, we only got 5 more months. Now, if I don't hold up my end of the bargain with coming back live, then y'all gonna be like, yo, Essence was just talking. And if you're on my email list, make sure you can respond to the email and give me some things that you're challenged with, some questions you even have that you would love for me to address. But what are you going to be consistent with? And I don't want to hear crickets. I need to hear the truth. Because the thing is, you can't lie to me. But you can lie to yourself. Waking up earlier. Okay, let's put a time on it, Katrina. What time are we waking up, girl? What time are we waking up? And why are we waking up earlier? What are we going to do with that time? And I think that's amazing. Who else going to go ahead and put themselves out there and say, this is what I'm going to be consistent with? Because y'all going to see my consistency or lack thereof. Or lack thereof. So we only got one person to say what they want to be consistent with. Well, nevertheless, whatever y'all choose to do, praying at 5:30. Come on now. Praying at 5:30 and practicing this. She said she about to get real with her devotion. Okay, I'm not about to do it. Y'all not about to get me turned today. I was high about 15 minutes ago and I done brought it down. I love it. The devotion, the communion, the abiding. Why? You know what? And that might be the next live. Y'all don't even understand. The best plays that you're going to get is from the Most High. It's from the divine. So you over here running in circles, and you realize that half the reason why you running in circles is because you being disobedient by default. We might have to talk about that on another live. Oh, I'm being disobedient by default. Why? Because I really haven't even heard what he has to say. And the reason why I haven't heard what he has to say, because he ain't got my ear. How can you hear if he ain't got your ear? But that's another live. I'll be consistent with time management and being productive with a daily task. Okay, Kenya. Showing up in my gift by speaking out. You better use your voice, Sabrina. You better use your voice. Doing lives in my ministry group and stop letting fear talk me out of what God is. Listen, you don't even know what's in your mouth. You don't even understand how he wants to use you and what could actually be taking place. And I'm gonna give y'all a brief story before I stop going live. So dang, I don't know if y'all ready for this. I might have to do this next live. Y'all want the story? Because the story might be another 20 minutes. I don't know. Nah. Y'all want to do it? 20, 30 minutes? Next live? Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to be live next. No, not next. Well, I'm going live again. I'm going live on Thursday. Y'all need to show up on Thursday. If you're on my email list, you will get an email. And I'm going to tell you this story. All y'all got to do to remind me of the story, just in case I forget the story, all I need y'all to tell me to do is push. And as soon as you say push, I got a story to tell. And I really feel like it's going to help you to start shifting, right? Organizing. Goddess Alexa, I want to be consistent organizing and using my knowledge on social media platforms. Y'all got so much in you. Y'all got so much work to do. And we got to stop playing small, y'all. We got to stop being afraid. We got to start taking up space. We got to start shining our light, loving ourselves, respecting ourselves, embracing. Listen, yesterday, so I'm like, I'm not going to tell y'all the real story. I'm going to tell you this on Thursday. But last night, I was freestyling because y'all know I like to rap. If you don't know, you need to find out. But so I was just... I'm so silly. So I was freestyling last night, and I was like, you know what? I need to be consistent with freestyling when ain't nobody listening, because I got bars. I lightweight got bars. But all right, y'all. I'm gonna see y'all next. Why I keep saying next? I'm gonna see y'all Thursday with this story, and I need y'all to remember the word push. That's all you got to say to me, and I need it in capital letters. And so as soon as I get on live, I'm gonna be like, what was I going live about again? I'm gonna need y'all to just be like, push. So I love you all. Thank you for being on live with me tonight. I will see you Thursday. What time are we going live? Como a las 5 o'clock, which is 8 p.m. EST. So 5 p.m. my time. We're on the Southwest Coast. Push, yes. So I will see y'all 8 p.m. EST. And y'all have a blessed evening. And I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.